Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to do some regression using the TI-83 and using the fuel efficiency lab that is in the book here. So if I first turn it on, and I'm going to clear my calculator, I'm going to go to Stat, Edit, because that's where I'm going to edit information. Now if I have data already in here, if I click up the up arrow and hit Clear and Enter, it will clear the column, or I can just type over it because I have only 3 rows of data in here, but I just like to have everything all cleared out when I start. So I've taken my data and I've rounded it to 0 decimal places just because it's easier to type in. 24, 31, 19. Make sure you get the right numbers, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, and then move over to the next one, 457, 353, 288, 301, 362, 287, 480, 643, and 633. Okay, you need to make sure you have the same number of columns and the same number of rows in each group. We do. So I'm going to go from here and now I'm going to graph my stuff. So I have Stat, Calc. I'm going to go down to number 4 here, which is linear regression. There's another one at number 8, but this is the first one there, so don't worry about it. Okay, and I'm going to put this into Y1 because this will allow me to graph it and make a picture afterwards. So vars, yvars, function y1. So I'm going to get my regression equation and it's going to put it into y1. So here it is. My slope is -20 and my y-intercept is 885. So if I go here, here's my graph. Now if I want to also graph my points so I can see if it's a good fit, I go to stat plot, second stat plot. Number 1 is fine. I'm going to turn it on, which is enter. And I have a dot plot here, and my groups are in L1 and L2, so that's perfect. Now I'm going to go and make sure that my data shows up. So I'm going to do zoom stat, and what this will do is it will make a graph based upon my statistical numbers. And I can now see, here's my graph, and I notice I have a lot of points here in the middle that are below, so this may not be the best line for my data because I should have it randomly around the thing, but I have random data here, so it may be better if I were to do all of it. And we can do some tests on that another time. We'll show you how to do that. But I also want to know my R and R squared. So second quit brings me out of my graph, and if I go to vars and I go down to statistics and I go over to equations, I see number 7 is R, and hit enter, and it gives me a -0.97, which is fairly strong R, and obviously if I can get R squared from vars, or I could just square this number here if I wanted to. And if I just did squared, that's going to give me my R squared. So 94% of the variation in emissions is based upon fuel efficiency. So, I can then look that up. We could do tests and see everything else. We could also look at residuals, which we're not getting into, but there's all kinds of tests to see if this was really a good line for it. But we have a strong correlation, so that's important. And that's how you do regression and correlation using the graphing calculator.